Good evening, brethren. Tonight we're going to go over one of our posts that we just recently did on hearyetherod.wordpress.com. And some of you may not be aware of it. We have this blog post site, and it's been up, I think, I want to say about 8 years, 7 years. And we have given most of the reports focusing on our Davidian brothers. We have another blog site called God's Love and Law, where we produce reports to Mother, to the SDA church members. But on this particular blog site, we like to give a report about, what's going on amongst us. What's the latest news? Any updates? Anything of that concerns us as a people. And so recently, we were on one of our main Facebook website called Truth Tellers, and we came across a discussion with MJ Bingham. I don't think it was on Truth Tellers; it was on one of the other sites. It may have even been on the news feed. I'm not sure, but it was a discussion from MJ Bingham's son, Trevor, and he had posted some information about the teaching of those with. This is an ongoing discussion that we've been having for quite a long time, off and on Facebook amongst the different Rod Davidian groups. We find this is always a active brewing situation amongst us as a people. There's two sides that go against each other often, and as we know, it's a more or less a shaking amongst us as a people. This issue has caused a big division, and of course, we have written about it several times on Hear Ye the Rod, and we've discussed it on Truth Tellers. And but what caught our eye, and this is why we've been guided by the Lord to put this on the video tonight, is what Brother Trevor produced. Him and I have been going back and forth in this discussion for a week or two now, and of course we've done this in the past, but not to this degree. It's getting more intensive and wide-ranging. Other people are joining in, and so there's a lot of back and forth. But he, as we know, being the son of MJ Bingham, has access to much of history, many documents, many of the early days in the 100% Rod Only group back in California after the knockout blow. MJ Bingham and Brother Warden and Donna Dare, a lot of the pioneers were all involved in this work right after the knockout blow. Of course, being his son, he has access to a lot of this stuff that is very valuable for historical views of what went on in the message. So one such thing that we have, and we posted here, is a response from Brother Warden to, Brother Bingham to Brother Warden about the those with issue. And we don't have the dates, but we believe this was in the early days, back in the 100% Rod Only days, which would be the early 60s. And as you can see here, Brother Bingham addressed Brother Warden's concerns. And then you'll look in the middle there, it says the references you have in mind may be the following. Then, of course, he gives 9-track 56, 4-answer 35, recruiter 46, and 2TG 4, page 15. Now, notice right after that, and it's kind of amazing to me, and Brother Trevor made the comment as well that it was amazing when he found out. Apparently, at that time, and as far as we ever know, these 4 references were the standard references that he used as support for those with. Because you can see it says, these are the only ones I have. I hope they will help. So this is kind of a eye-opening in that he only had 4 references to back up his those with support. Now, of course, we know these 4 references can be enough to to send somebody on their own personal doctrine, of course. But what that tells us is that there was a brother Donadair, that most likely has brought in all the additional references that the standard those with proclaimers use as backup for their belief that there'll be more than 144,000 sealed from the church at Ezekiel 9. And I'm talking about of the living. Now, we know as present truth believers that the message is very clear that there's going to be those with, but those are going to be the resurrected saints from the SDA church, the pioneers, more or less, and all those that died prior to the judgment. So let's go on to slide number 2. Now, here is the actual request from Brother Warden, which Brother Trevor posted on Facebook. And we can see, if you'll take a notice of something, it's very shocking to me, that Brother Warden, who was one of the first ones that came into the message, asked the following question of Brother Bingham. Is it not true that others are sealed in the church who are not the sons of Jacob? If so, can you give me the reference? Now, brothers, we got to be honest with you. We were shocked when we read this. I mean, number one, we know from Scripture that you are not to lean on flesh. And this is a perfect example of leaning on flesh to know what is truth. Can you believe that? A seasoned, one of the beginning members of the original Davidian Seventh-day Adventist asked Brother MJ Bingham if something is true or not. So anyway, this is amazing to me. So this is the note, and okay, now we do have the date. I see it October 22nd, 1969. So it was in the 60s, a little later than I thought, but it was in the early days of the 60s. Of course, we know this very well as a standard basic Christian teaching, and that is, cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. Jeremiah 17:5. So this is very disturbing to us, but nevertheless, we need to see what comes of the situation. So in the response from MJ Bingham to Brother Warden, the first reference he uses is track 9, page 56. And you can read here that this is the one that is one of the most often used, those with quotes. And as you read into it, the key part that we should have underlined it, but we'll go over it right here, is the part where it says, one from the church and one from the world. The record of the former mentions only Israelites, the 144,000, those not defiled with women, though it does not say there may not be others. Okay, this, as we know, is a go-to part of this reference that they use to say, see, there's going to be others that are going to go along with the 144,000 that are going to escape the church judgment. But let's look at this real closely here. First of all, we notice in this reference that it's titled "A Class Defiled with Women, Second Fruits." So that's the context of which this reference is discussing. We see that this class was married to an unchristian mistress, a heathen church. Although the first fruit harvest produces descendants, Israelites, it says that it does not say that there may not be other Israelites. That's the key to remember what the context of this reference is saying. Other Israelites that will be found saved, since the great multitude will include both of the undefiled and defiled ones, Jews and Gentiles. So here we see the context is very important, that we do not lose sight of this context. So when we know the context, MJ Bingham and all the other like-minded teachers point to, though it does not say there may not be others, as evidence that some other Israelites survived the first fruit judgment, Ezekiel 9. In other words, more than 144,000 Israelites get sealed. They're those with and saved in the church judgment. But here's something to really think about, brethren, and this shows you how much of a hole they dig themselves into. They are ultimately claiming the Lord absent-mindedly forgot to add these Israelites in Revelation 7. In other words, when the Lord made meticulous accounting of the 12,000 from each tribe from our church, we know that this is talking about the SDA church. We've taught that as a people, as a Davidian Seventh-day Adventist people. Certain Israelites from the tribes were forgotten and unaccounted for, but are nevertheless sealed. Blasphemy. This is total blasphemy, what they twist this reference to say. Do you not see the great deceiver's fingerprints and all over this type of misinterpretation? Revelation 22, 18, 19 is there for this reason. The Lord knew in his great all-knowing foresight that things would be twisted, things would be added and subtracted. People would later come along and say, those are not all the sealed Israelites from the church. There's going to be more. Well, you better look at 22, 18, and 19. It's very solemn. It's a very warning. And this is going specifically to those with proclaimers that are teaching falsehood. We warn them. And this is the purpose of the Lord sending us to put this video out, to give a warning. Better not continue to do these kind of additions to the message. So in our next video, what we're going to do is address the other three references that MJ Bingham uses as his foundation. Keep in mind, according to Sister Bonnie Smith, Brother Hodoff never taught this those with idea. Brother always taught it according to what almost the vast majority of us Davidians believe, and that is only 144,000 sealed from the church at the church judgment, and they are the only ones to escape. This is what Sister Bonnie Smith has told us many, many times over the years. And she has said that MJ Bingham was the one that promoted this teaching originally. And of course, so we're going to go over the four references. We've already went over one. We're going to continue in the next video to go to the three other references that Brother Bingham brings that show support for his ideas. And of course, this should not be anything surprising when we know what White House Recruiter, page 33, told us. The Lord said the enemy will try everything conceivable to confuse, becloud, and cover up the truth, especially on the subject of the 144,000. So let us be strong, brethren, in the truth. Let us understand that just like the Sabbath, just like marriage, just like the beautiful rainbow, Satan has found a way to give a fake counterfeit for all of God's important truths and all his beauty. He's found a fake counterfeit. And so he has not left this 144,000 teaching alone. He has found a way to give us a fake. And so what we're doing is exposing this fake. And that fake is called 144,000 and those with living. So we thank you for joining us today, and may the Lord be with you. We have prayed before this video, and we ask that each and every video that we give, you pause it before you start and ask for the Lord's Spirit of truth to guide you. Of course, that's found in John 16:13. Until next time, may God bless.